Hey, good morning everybody. It is Sunday, May 26th. As you can see, I'm at the school. I'm currently looking at a few different places on campus where we can try to set up the rainwater collection system. And I think I got a pretty good spot picked out, so I'm going to flip the camera around so y'all can get a good view, and then I'll just keep explaining what's going on so far and where we're at and what we need. So I appreciate it. I hope y'all are doing all right out there, and take a look. As you notice, I'm in front of the administration building, which would put me on the right side of the building. And as you can see on this front section right here, there's a gutter with a downspout that comes down right here. The length of this wall from the inside, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a column. The inside of that column all the way to the door over there is approximately 31 feet. I measured it with my super calibrated tennis shoes and walked it off. So an idea I had was to pull up, not this one, but pull up these and plant them in a line right here, coming out about 6-7 feet. That way we could save these trees, plant them here, and then put the tanks along this wall. That would make it look nice. I think these are hibiscus. I think it would hide the tanks, make it look more natural. The tanks are brown. So I'm thinking we can fit four 2,500 liter capacity tanks here easily, possibly 5. And so it's nice because there's already a spout here, and if we need to, if the capacity from the rain is not enough to fill it up, if you go around this corner, hang on, I don't want to fall down the hill. If you go around this corner, I don't know if you can see, but down there is the downspout for the back half of the building. So that comes down and we could easily run a tube down the line over here and hook it back up to the tanks. Or if we needed to, or the capacity grows, there is a second set or a secondary source back here. That's the maintenance building right there. As you can see, there are 2 downspouts that come off. That roof to the left covers the patio, and all the rain that it catches flows onto this roof, which gets captured there, goes down. So we need to find out where those go. They go down into the concrete, but it would be, I mean, not super easy, but pretty easy to find out where they go, depending, join them up and run them over here. So if we're able to use this area, we just need about 6 feet from the building, and it's pretty level. We would just need to remove some of the rocks, put some stuff down to pack it to make it really level. And as y'all may know, I've been trying to calculate water pressure and blah 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 gallons per minute.
All right, so as I got closer to the corner, the wind picked up, and all I could hear was wind noise in the microphone. So right now I'm talking about, this is the secondary building, and right in front of us, this roof, next roof, is the Cafetine, Comodore, Concha, and that last roof, that is the building we're talking about. That is the building with the bathrooms, and from this height, we should have enough pressure to run the sinks and the toilets in both bathrooms. There's a set of bathrooms at that end of the building and at that end of the building. So from this high up, like I said, we should have the pressure, no problem. We should have the capacity. So, and then right now I'm just talking about how beautiful the view is. We're starting raining season, everything's getting green, and that red tree right there is my favorite tree. It always stands out. So thanks for listening.
All right, welcome back, everybody. In case you're wondering, yes, I am the same guy that was talking in the first part of the video. During the day, did a little landscaping, not so much top, but back, front, so it's a little more shiny up top. So yes, it's the same person that was talking before. So the next part of the video, I kind of want to explain what I was going to show you. I have screenshots of work that I've been doing. The first one is the calculated water usage, which is from water bills of the school. The second, I believe, is the average rainfall, which I calculated back 10 years. And the third one will be rainfall to potential gallons. So just bear with me 1 second. I'll get those up and kind of explain each one as we go along. So appreciate it. Thanks for listening. And it's important information, so please continue. Thank you.
All right, as you can see here, this is the screenshot of the water usage document that I put together for my report. The top paragraph just kind of explains time frame, how I did certain things. The one important notice to see is March and April both say 190. That's because there was no bill for March. There's one for April, and it was a abnormally large amount. And so it looked like they put both of them on the same bill. So I just split it in half, put one on March, one on April. There's no real way to know which has which. So that was the best thing that I could come up with. So that's why that looks like that. And as you can see, the first column in that table says cubic meters. That's because water usage here is measured by the cubic meter. And a cubic meter, as you can see from the calculations, is 1,000 liters. And then I converted that to gallons. So as you can see, January, 35,000, February, 28,000, March, April, 50,000, May, 57,000. And it's kind of important to know about these numbers. So I wanted to see these to measure, certain events and correlate that with the usage. So in about March, we started putting in more gardens here. And as you can see, more gardens need more water. So those numbers jumped up significantly. And what this equates to is numbers that large are coming out to water bills that are over $500. So $500 US for 1 month. And that's a pretty big strain on the school. So that's kind of what initiated this project. It's something I kind of wanted to do on a smaller scale, but when I heard about this and saw this, I saw there was a need, and that is what the need is. So that is why I'm trying to do this project on a larger scale than original, and then see how this goes. Then maybe we can incorporate the other sections on campus to use rainwater as well, and kind of do a better job with their resources. So as you can see, those are the numbers, and the 5-month total was close to 250,000 gallons. And just to put it in perspective, the average Texas household uses about 246 gallons a day, which comes out to 7,380 gallons a month. And your average Olympic pool has 660,000 gallons. So we use about 1/3 of an Olympic swimming pool's worth of water. So it's a large amount, and that's something we need to improve on. So this is the usage. The next screenshot you will see will be the calculated rainfall data. So I'm going to put that one up there, and we'll keep going through the presentation. All right, so what you can see here is this is the average rainfall for Matagalpa, Nicaragua. I was able to find data going back to 2009. So it was nice to be able to get about a good 10-year span on almost every month. Obviously, we're in May right now, so it's not 10 years for everything, but it's still pretty good. So the highlighted row, that is the average. If you look above it, that is the lowest month of the 10-year span. And below it is the highest month of the 10-year span. And then I calculated the difference just to kind of see what it looked like. As you can see, in December and January, we don't get a lot of rainfall. Those are also cooler months, so not too bad. February is kind of getting to the hotter, dry season, and then March and April, those are the 2 months that are the worst. And what you can see in the low rainfall months, the difference between the high and the low is not that much. So they're pretty consistently low. So, we're going to probably have those same numbers for going on. And during the rest of the season, the rainy season, or the rest of the year, you can see the difference between the high and the low gets kind of big. For instance, May had a 13.5-inch difference. August had a 10.72. So basically what that's saying is, there's months you're not going to get as much, and there's months you're going to get too much. So what we need to do is, when we're designing the system, is to make sure to have an overflow that goes somewhere else, because we don't want to have a failure or anything like that. So these are the numbers for the rainfall. So yeah, it's great. It's nice to know you need this to do other calculations. The calculations that are more important is how rainfall equates to gallons stored. And basically, I've measured every roof, calculated the square footage of every roof on every structure on campus. And from earlier in the video, that
I'm focusing on the administration building mainly, and then a secondary source using the maintenance and the patio cover. So I'll get those numbers up because inches of rain equate to gallons, and gallons is what we're more focused on using. So give me 1 second and we'll get that up there for you. All right, as you can see here, we have converted numbers into gallons. There's a couple things you need to do to be able to do this. First, you need the square footage of the roof. So as you can see on this sheet, the admin building square footage of the roof is 6,048 square feet. Second is the coefficient. So basically the way this was calculated, I believe it was University of Arizona maybe, did a study and they found that per every 1,000 square feet of roof, during 1 inch of rainfall, it is possible to collect about 560 gallons. And this is for metal roofs. And other sources have it all the way up to 620 gallons per 1,000 square feet. So not a huge range, but I like to be more conservative on the estimate. So I chose to use the 560 number. So the coefficient is 0.56, and as I mentioned earlier, it is for metal roofs. If you have an asphalt roof or some other type of material, I don't know. I didn't look that up. Sorry. We have metal roofs here, so I kind of went with that. And so for the admin building, 6,048 square feet times the coefficient of 0.56 gives us 3,387 potential gallons of rainwater during 1 inch of rainfall. And below that, you see the secondary source. If you were paying attention earlier, you know that is the maintenance building with the patio cover. That is 1,640 square feet times 0.56, which is 918 potential gallons during 1 inch of rainfall. At the top, you see I have the month, and then I have the average rainfall. Below it, once again, that is the 10-year calculated average rainfall. Gallons whole, gallons half, and gallons secondary. So gallons whole is for if we're collecting off the entire roof of the admin building. As you saw earlier, there's a front section which has a gutter and a downspout, and a back section which has a different gutter and downspout. So if we were to collect from the entire roof, that's what that number is, gallons whole. That's what that is for. Gallons half is if we are just collecting off the front half of the building, and gallons secondary is talking about the secondary source. So as you can see here, we have some promising numbers, and it's pretty exciting to work through the math and do that. So make sure you're paying attention in math class if you're one of my students. And why this is important is we need to make sure we have the ability to store the amount of rain that we are trying to collect. For instance, if we pick May and we're only collecting off the front half of the building, there's a potential 11,719 gallons. So if I have a 1,000 gallon capacity for storage, I gotta make sure I can direct that other 10,719 somewhere else, or get it back to drainage, or direct it to another storage area. So that's why this is important.
All right, thank you for sticking with me through the video so far. We're about to wrap this up. The last item, if you've been paying attention, we haven't covered yet, is materials list and a budget. So based on all the calculations that we've done, potential rainfall, potential gallons, usage, we need to come up with a system. How many tanks do we need? What do we need to make this work? So myself, I'm more of a visual person. I have a photo of the area that I want to put the system, and I'm going to put that up and then kind of explain what we're working with.
As you can see in the photo, we are looking at the right of the administrative building. As I mentioned before in the video, I want to move those trees to come out perpendicular from the front. That would be to help block the visibility of the tanks. And I mentioned they were brown, but the tanks are actually more of a light tan color. And I know that wall looks white in the photo, but it's kind of more of a cream color, so they'll blend in pretty well. What I was thinking about doing for this area is using concrete blocks to come out about 6 feet from the wall and then run back down. It's about 31 feet, and then another 6 feet to go back to the wall to create the rectangle, and then fill that in with a gravel sand base mixture to help level it and keep rocks from puncturing it.
All right, so now you have a pretty good visual of the area which we'll be working to set up the rainwater collection system. Ideally, I'd like to take the tanks and run them down that wall. As I mentioned, that's why we have a rectangle. I want to move those trees. So what we're looking at to build out that little area, like I said, I want to use concrete blocks. We need about 40 of those. They cost roughly $1.50 each, so we're looking at $60 total for concrete blocks. And the base material, the gravel sand mixture, a cubic meter of material costs roughly $20. We need probably 2, maybe 3, so we're looking at $60 total for that as well. Miscellaneous PVC, hooking it up, running it to the line, we're looking at maybe about $100 for PVC materials. Unfortunately, it costs a little bit more here than it does in the States. And the tanks themselves, what's nice about the tanks is they already have valves installed on them, so we don't have to buy those and put those in there. The tanks are 2,500 liter capacity, which is roughly 660 gallons, and they cost between $260 to $270 each tank. So that's US dollars, $260, $270. To start the project, I would really love to be able to put 5 tanks in there. Obviously, I'll do whatever I can, but my goal is to get 5 tanks. And with the 5 tanks, we are looking at we would have a storage capacity of 3,300 gallons. And the total cost for this looks like it'll be $1,570. I like to put a little extra in there just to be safe. So we're looking at $1,700 for everything. And ultimately, my stretch goal would be to have 10 tanks. With 10 tanks, that would double our capacity. We're looking at 6,600 gallon storage capacity. That would be phenomenal. That would be pretty awesome. To do that, basically we need a little bit more concrete blocks, a little bit more base material, obviously 5 more tanks. So the total cost for 10 tanks would be roughly $3,000. So I'm going to show you my notes real quick. No fancy spreadsheets, but that's it. So like I said, 5 tanks, $1,700, 10 tanks, roughly $3,000. So now that we know how much it's going to cost to complete the project, how are we going to get the funds? Well, yeah, that is a very good question. Basically, I have a family that donates every month to me as a missionary while I'm here. By the way, Dave and Robbie, thank you very much. I'm going to take 10% out of these donations for the money that's to be used for living here to go towards this project as well as other projects in the future. I have another couple that we work with in the ministry back home, Alex and Jacob. They have donated. Thank you so much for that. That was very generous. And the rest of it, man, we gotta work together. I need your help. Last year when we had a project for something bad that happened to one of the teachers, you guys came through in a big way. It was awesome how good you came through. The water project is something that's important to me. I first came to Nicaragua to drill a water well. Conserving water is something that's important and dear to my heart. So if it's something that you feel strong about, let me know if you can donate. That would be great. If you can't donate, hey, I understand, man. Times are tight for everybody. But you can share the video, talk to your friends, be like, hey man, I know there's this crazy gringo that went down to Nicaragua to volunteer as a missionary at a school. It would be great. I would love it. This is a community thing. This is not a me thing. As a ministry trying to do something good for the community here in Matagalpa. So that's where we're at with that. As I mentioned, about $1,700 to put in a 5-tank system and about $3,000 to put in a 10-tank. I'd be happy with 1 tank. I'd be My goal is 5 tanks. If we could get it for 10 tanks, man, it'd be phenomenal. That would be something else. I don't know what I would do, but that would be pretty cool. So thank you for sticking with me through the video. If you have any questions, contact me. If you need to know how to donate, please contact me. And thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Adios.